Hey folks, I'm here. It's been a while since the last video. The reason being is that I don't take any holiday, like ever, and so my family has a very strict no working ban on me over the Christmas period. However, I thought I'd do a really cheeky video. I'm out in the car at the moment. So yeah, I want to talk about Midas DAO, the general market, and yeah, the general market really, and I guess DAO tokenomics. So first of all, with Midas, I've made a text post in YouTube, so try and find that somewhere. But long story short, at one point, so if we go back, I don't know, whenever it was, a few weeks ago, I allocated, I don't know, something like 10% of my portfolio into Midas. I did my research on it, looked good, nice team from what it seemed, and so I thought, right, let's allocate some capital into Midas over a period of time. And I had a lot of questions about, you know, how do I mint in Midas, all that sort of stuff. So I released a video. Now, what I didn't know is that there would be huge amounts of people just blindly aping in to Midas. Like, even though I only put 10% of my portfolio into Midas, there are people just blindly watching that video and putting loads in. And so this is why I think there's a bit of backlash right now, because what happened is that there was I very quickly watched my, I think, $350,000 balloon into like $850,000 in the space of like 4 days. So like with normal investing, I had to rebalance. I had to basically rebalance my portfolio because I didn't want Midas being a huge chunk of my pot. So I was stuck with the decision of, do I sell the lot? Do I take all, you know, bearing in mind it's a small, you know, high APR type business, type DAO. Do I sell the whole lot at 850k and cut and run and sell at market and crash the project? Because that's what would have happened if I sold $850,000 worth of Midas at $400 when I was looking at the charts. It would have killed the project. So what happened it was a long shot. I basically reached out to the team of Midas and said, hey, look, I want to get out. I want to sell at least half, just so I can take principal back and a bit of profit, because that's what you should always do. It's like basic investing. You like, especially in super risky projects like rebasing DAOs, especially low market cap DAOs, it's super risky. So recover your principal and a bit of profit, then you're in for a free ride. So the price was $400 at the time, and I agreed to an OTC, over-the-counter deal, where I would basically swap my crown for MIM directly with the treasury. That way the deal would not affect the price, because I didn't want to hurt the project. So I accepted something like $370. So I took a haircut, I took a discount when I didn't need to, and did the OTC deal. That protected it. That was at like 2:30 at night or in the morning. I then went to bed, and then I woke up to an absolute shit show. Other people had dumped the market. Now, I told, like, yeah, I don't know who did it. I told no one about the deal. It was like 2:30 in the morning. So mind you, this is just plain conjecture. Let's not go into that. I have a few ideas of who dumped the market. Bearing in mind, I'm not a whale. People say I am. I'm not a whale. I'm literally just acting on my own. I'm not in a whale group or a text message, like a Discord server or anything with whales. That's just silly. I just have the realistic trader community. That is it. Anyway, so the price crashed. It then dropped down to, I don't know, 200, 100, whatever. And so I remember chatting with my students saying, look, price is looking really ropey. It's probably going to fall a lot more. And out of blind, and this, like, I don't often make investing errors, like knowingly making errors, but I did. Out of blind loyalty, I don't know, just trying to be a nice person, I left I still had, you know, $400,000 worth of crown after my OTC deal. That quickly dropped down to like 200 grand. And then out of blind generosity or blind loyalty, whatever, I let it go. I just let it drop. Even though I was looking at the charts and seeing that, you know, there was bearishness across the whole board and that more falling would happen, I did not sell my remaining staked crown. And so I then quickly watched that $400,000 evaporate to 200, 100, then $50,000. And then today, literally today, I've just gone, right, screw it. There's much more falling inbound. Just looking at the charts, it's not a dig at Midas. I'm just looking at the charts. You've got to be completely emotionless. And looking at the charts, small market cap, rebasing Dows are screwed. Absolutely screwed. To be more specific, small, low market cap Dows with no liquidity are screwed. Okay, those with liquidity can pull it off. So all I did is I sold my remaining crown, and now apparently I am like the biggest snake on the planet. But you need to put yourself in my shoes. So anyone that's having negative thoughts towards me at the moment, put yourself in my shoes. Most people would have sold at market. They wouldn't have even bothered wasting 18 hours doing an OTC deal, because that's how long it took, 18 hours to get my MIM, by which time the move that I wanted to do, as in redivest into time, it had already gone up. It was like, I wanted to press go at $3,000, and by the time the deal went through, time was like $3,300. I missed a lot of alpha there. But let's say you did the OTC deal and you're stuck with, you're left with that remaining $400,000, and then it drops to 300 and then 200. And then you saw and you knew with almost 90% certainty that the Midas would fall. Would you just leave your $200,000 on the market just to try and be a nice guy and help random strangers you don't know? No, you freaking won't. No, like most people wouldn't. And this is why it hurts, because I did. And all I'm getting is backlash, which just absolutely sucks. So many ignorant people in the crypto space at the moment. And what I'm seeing in a lot of different discords at the moment is very leftist, anti-whale sentiment, which is not good. It is not good. You absolutely must not be in a project where they are trying to kill whales or exclude them, because what you don't realize is it's whales, big money, that actually gets projects up and going and sustainable. The reason why time is so freaking good is because it has $500 million in liquidity. I can sell a couple of $1 million worth of time in a single transaction on market, and it will move the price like $30. It's like nothing. And so that attracts bigger whales. And when bigger people come into the project, it's only going to grow the project even further. So that's right, why I think like time, if I'm going to be accused of shilling a project, it's Wonderland time. I've always had 80 to 90% of my pot in Wonderland time, always, from day one, really. And everyone in my RT community has seen that. I've always had 80 to 90% of my whole portfolio in Wonderland time. So if you're going to accuse me of shilling something, yeah, I'm shilling time. All my money is in that. The Midas and Nemesis and all these other projects I'm in, they've only occupied, a couple of percent. Hector I'm in as well, that's like only a couple of percent. Nemesis I'm in, that's probably 5 or 10% of my pot right now. So yeah, and by the way, I'm not paid by any shit, I'm not paid to talk about any company. Time definitely doesn't pay me. Anyway, so that's what's happened. It's very disheartening. It is the reason, like, this is why I don't post much on YouTube. I post like 1 to maybe 5% of the stuff I do. Everything else is in my Telegram. Hell, if you're going to accuse me of shilling something else, I'm shilling my own community, the realistic trader community, because that way there's context. You know what I'm doing, the strategies I'm using, and really I'm just looking at the charts. You must never get emotionally connected to any asset. When that happens, yes, you're absolutely screwed. What else is there? Tokenomics. Okay, so obviously the 4 ohm or the rebasing DAO videos I put up on YouTube a while ago, you have to understand that they're for they were the most basic high level overview of what a rebasing DAO is. And obviously I just focused on Olympus, which is the granddaddy in this space. But when you look at it in a slightly more refined manner, you have to understand that in most, not all, but in most DAOs, the revenue that they're saying is not really revenue. And I have to caveat that. So a lot of the so with time, they make a lot of like if you take Olympus and time, they make a lot of revenue through the liquidity pool revenue. So they are generally making revenue. But a lot of these DAOs where they're not getting that much revenue, all of the income or the revenue is from share dilution. That's basically it. It's like having a company that every 8 hours issues more shares and then, you know, and just either sells those shares, either through minting or bonding, or just, you know, through rebases. So it's basically a constant share dilution, which means the price has a natural tendency to fall, right? This is why we have like a natural, well, we have somewhat of a temporary shelf life of these DAOs of 1 to 6 months. Now, there's two variables. It's a bi-variable thing, which you need both of them doing well, okay? So the first variable with a DAO is that you need more money coming in, right? You constantly need more buyers, new buyers, more blood. This is why it's called Ponzi-nomics, because like a Ponzi scheme, the Ponzi scheme falls over when buyers dry up or flatline, okay? You need a constant stream of new buyers. So that's the first variable in this bi-variable makeup here. The second variable is that you have to use the treasury. It's absolutely critical. You absolutely, by law of freaking maths, you cannot have a project that pays out, I don't know, let's say 100,000% APY, but then with its treasury makes less than 100,000% APY. You can't. It's simple maths. It will go kaput. So what you then have to do is, first of all, you need that new blood. That's the first variable. Then the second variable, you have to freaking do something with that treasury. If you are a DAO, a small microcap DAO, or let's say you're an investor and you're in some random bullshit DAO, and they're not doing anything with their treasury, or they have no plans to, they're just being a DAO for DAO's sake, I would question your position. Now, admittedly, Olympus hasn't really done anything with their treasury, and nor has Time yet, but Time is creating an NFT RPG. So they're creating something which will be cash flowing and also something of value. So if you take that treasury and then invest it in a business, or invest it in something which has an appreciation play and a cash flowing play, then you can somewhat cover the APR or the APY, or both. But what you will see is the good projects should come down a lot in APY. This is why Olympus is doing really well. From a tokenomics point of view, that they have these regular step downs in APR. So yeah, they're the thing. So that's why, like, recently in my community, I did some charting analysis of, like, I don't know, 20, 30 different DAOs. All of them were dog shit. All of them were. And most DAOs are literally going down a lot further. Even Time could, but literally, this was the other night I did this, and the only two conclusions I came to were Nemesis and Time were the only ones that looked somewhat bullish or resilient. I wouldn't say bullish, I'd say resilient. And the last thing you have to be really concerned of is January. That's the thing that's concerning me at the moment. So you have to understand, 2021 was the year of banks, billionaires, and countries plowing, just flooding into this market, right? Lots of new capital. I mean, put it this way, I remember back to the juicy days of 2017 where the whole crypto market cap was like $20 billion. Then in 2020, it was $200 billion market cap. And now it's like $2.2 trillion market cap. That massive jump up, that 10x in market cap, is due to whales, right? Banks, billionaires, and countries just all flowing into this space. So if you're a hedge fund or a big family office or some sort of big company like this, what you're not going to do is log into your Coinbase account and buy Bitcoin at market on the spot market. You just don't do that. You have OTC deals happening all over the place. So a lot of these transactions you don't really see happening. But let's say you're a hedge fund manager, right? And you've got billions to deploy into crypto. In 2020, you probably put 0.5% or anything from 0.5% to 5% of your whole portfolio into Bitcoin, most likely around 0.5%. And let's say you have a hurdle of, you know, the benchmark may be the S&P 500. So all you need to do is beat the S&P 500, maybe a few percentage points above that, and then you get your big fat $20 million Christmas bonus, right? A lot of these hedge funds, because they're trading with other people's money, they don't really give a shit about the capital that they're deploying. What they're trying to do is do well enough to get their big Christmas bonus, right? So they're not having to go maximize their return on investment. They just want to get their Christmas bonus. So all of a sudden, this small portion of crypto allocation into Ether or Bitcoin or whatever has done really well. They've met their bonus. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to start taking profits, which is what we saw in September, November time. They're booking their year. They're basically locking in their profits, getting their Christmas bonus. But what happens on January the 1st? Brand new slate. They start at 0% APR. The APR, ROI. They have to deploy. So January is the capital deployment month, where they go, shit, new year, crypto is pretty good to me last year. Let's go in a little bit more. Instead of a 1%, let's do 5%. Now, so you would have, when you look at this from the face value of this, you think, oh, that's really good. Huge amounts of money coming into crypto in January. Game time, baby. Nope. This is why you need to understand trading. Ironically, people don't really want to learn how to trade properly, but the better a trader you are, the better a crypto investor you become. I say this all the time. And so looking at this from a trader point of view, if I was a billionaire hedge fund trader or manager, I would not want to be buying Bitcoin at spot price. You know, let's say Bitcoin is $40,000. I'd be looking at that going, I want a discount, baby. I want to get in at like $30,000. So they will do things to drop the market. So this is why I'm concerned. I think the big boys are going to come flowing into January. They will most likely use all the different tools in their toolbox to maybe drop the price, and then they'll load up. So what does this mean? The reason I'm concerned is that if they are going to do this, this is not good for rebasing Dows. Even time, even my beloved time. It's quite bearish, so I'm prepared. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they just like, you know, flood in without doing any shenanigans and just boosts my bags. But I'm just getting ready to sidestep time and everything else I'm in. Yeah, and you should too. You should have zero qualms in going into cash or MIM. But yeah, anyway, yeah, anti-whale sentiment is not good for DAOs. You have to get it around your heads. If you are in a team, let's say you're a developer in a DAO of some sort, a rebasing DAO, you mustn't make things too stringent and anti-whale-ish, because you'll never attract the big money, which means your project will never take off. Yes, have a 5% sales tax. That's fine. Whales don't give a shit about that. But don't make it so prohibitive that you just completely get rid of all whales, because you will just basically kneecap your own project and it will never take off. And liquidity is the main thing. Yeah, market cap is interesting, but it's liquidity. Like if you look at Midas right now, the last time I checked, it was like $1 million liquidity. You can't do shit. Hell, selling $10,000 worth of, let's say, ignore the word Midas. Let's say it's any DAO and it's $1 million liquidity. If you try and sell $10,000 worth of whatever that token is, you're going to get slipped 1.5%, 2% maybe. Which means you're never going to attract anyone. Imagine trying to buy 50 grand of that. You're going to get slipped like 20%. It's not good. Hell, like today I bought another $50,000 of Nemesis, and even though that's got a liquidity of like $8 million, I still got slipped big time. I think to buy like $50,000, I got slipped like, oh, I can't remember. I took a screenshot. I can't remember if it was 2% or 10%, but it's been a long day. Anyway, they're just my little thoughts. I'm going to be putting out a lot less on Twitter and YouTube. I just don't have time for this shit. I genuinely try to help people. I really do. But unfortunately, yeah, I just get more grief than it's worth. So yeah, I'll see you lovely legends in my Discord and my Telegram. That's where I share everything. Right, toodles, bye.